The world doesn't care about your excuses. That's the first truth most people never want to face. You wake up, you complain, you scroll through your phone, you tell yourself you're tired, you tell yourself you've had a bad day, but let me tell you something, no one's listening. The world isn't waiting to feel sorry for you. The world doesn't stop spinning because you feel overwhelmed. The world only respects results. You can sit there and whine about how unfair life is, or you can stand up and take control of it. Because at the end of the day, no one's going to carry you to success. No one's coming to fix your problems. You either do it or you don't. You either win or you lose. That's it. People love to talk about how hard life is. They say the system is rigged. They say others got lucky. They say nobody gave them a chance. And maybe that's true. But who cares? Because crying about it won't change a thing. You think billionaires sit around complaining about what's unfair. No, they adapt. They fight. They work. While you're busy explaining why you can't, someone else is out there proving why they can. The difference between you and the man winning isn't luck, it's mindset. You've trained your brain to find comfort in excuses. He's trained his to find solutions. You've got to understand that every second you waste justifying your failure is a second you could have spent building something better. You think the world is watching, waiting to feel bad for you. It's not. The world is too busy rewarding the people who make things happen. Look around you. Every successful person you admire started from nothing. Every single one of them had reasons to quit, but they didn't. Because they knew nobody cared about their excuses, only their actions. They took that pain, that rejection, that lack of support, and turned it into power. That's the mindset you need. Stop telling yourself stories about why you can't do something. Stop using your past as a shield to protect your laziness. Nobody's impressed by your excuses. Nobody's handing out trophies for almost trying. Life doesn't care about what you meant to do. It only cares about what you did. You either get it done or you don't. You either show up or you disappear. And when you start thinking like that, something changes inside you. You stop needing sympathy and you start building strength. You stop waiting for validation and you start demanding results. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your potential. You say you're too tired, that's a brick. You say you don't have time, another brick. You say nobody believes in you, another brick. And soon, you've built a fortress of failure that traps you inside your own weakness. But the day you stop making excuses, you start tearing that wall down. You realize the only thing holding you back was never the world, it was you. Your mindset, your habits, your choices. Think about it. How many times have you convinced yourself you'll start tomorrow? You say you'll get serious next week. You'll fix your habits next month. You'll focus next year. That's the language of losers. Winners act now. Winners don't wait for the perfect day. They take imperfect action every single day. Because they understand progress isn't built in comfort, it's built in motion. The truth is harsh, but it's the most freeing truth you'll ever hear. No one's coming to save you. And that's good. Because it means you're in control. You don't need the world's permission to win. You don't need their approval. You don't need anyone to understand your vision. All you need is discipline, consistency, and the courage to face your reflection and say, it's on me. Once you accept that, once you stop blaming the system, your parents, your job, your friends, your past, you become unstoppable. Because now every win belongs to you. Every improvement, every victory, every step forward, that's all you. That's how real power is built. When you stop expecting the world to care and decide that you will, you can't build your empire while staring at someone else's. That's the mistake most people make. They look left, they look right, they look at what everybody else is doing, and they forget to look straight ahead. You scroll through your phone and see someone with a better car, a bigger house, more followers, and suddenly you start questioning your worth. You start thinking, why not me? Why am I not there yet? But what you don't realize is that comparison is killing your progress. Every second you spend looking at someone else's life is a second stolen from your own destiny. You have to understand that success isn't a race you run against others. It's a war you fight within yourself. The only person you need to be better than is the version of you from yesterday. The moment you start comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you lose focus. You lose clarity, you lose yourself. Because while you're busy watching their highlight reel, they're busy working on their next move. You think you're studying competition, but you're actually feeding distraction. Everyone's timeline is different. Some people blow up at 20, some at 40. Some take 10 years to find their purpose, some take 1. But the truth is, it doesn't matter how fast others move. It only matters that you don't stop. The danger of comparison is that it makes you chase things that aren't even meant for you. You start copying their style, their path, their goals, and slowly you lose the hunger that makes you unique. You were born with your own potential, your own rhythm, your own fire. But the more you compare, the more that fire dies. The world wants you distracted. They want you addicted to watching others win. They want you to believe you're behind, that you're not enough, that you're too late. Because if you believe that, you'll never focus long enough to win yourself. That's the game. Keep the masses scrolling, keep them jealous, keep them doubting. But the few who break free, the few who cut the noise and say, I don't care what they're doing, I'm locked in on me. Those are the ones who rise. Those are the ones who build something real. You can't create while you're comparing. You can't grow while you're judging. The people you envy don't have more talent than you. They just have more tunnel vision. They're not worried about your life. They're too busy living theirs. The man who's too focused to compare is the man who becomes untouchable. That's how you win, by keeping your eyes on your own path, by trusting your grind even when no one claps for it, by believing that your time will come if you stay consistent long enough. When you compare, you plant doubt. You start thinking you're not good enough. And when doubt grows, action dies. You stop taking risks, you stop learning, you stop building. But when you focus on yourself, you grow power. You stop needing external validation and you start creating internal drive. You realize that success isn't about being the best. It's about being better than you were yesterday. You can't control what someone else achieves, but you can control how hard you work, how disciplined you are, how focused you remain. That's what matters. Every time you catch yourself comparing, stop and redirect that energy. Instead of saying, why them? Start saying, why not me? And then back it up with action. Use their success as proof that it's possible, not as evidence that you're losing. Because the truth is, there's enough room for everyone to win. The difference is that most people are too busy watching others to realize it. You're not behind. You're not losing. You're exactly where you need to be as long as you're moving forward. The road to success is long, and everyone's map is different. Some people are ahead of you, but they're not you. They don't have your story, your mind, or your resilience. So stop wasting time counting someone else's blessings when you could be building your own. The only comparison that should exist is between the man you are and the man you're becoming. Because when you focus on yourself, you stop being a spectator and you start becoming the main event. Your energy is your currency. Every single day, you wake up with a limited amount of focus, discipline, and drive, and how you spend it determines where you end up. Most people don't understand that. They waste their energy on things that don't matter. They argue online, gossip about people doing better than them, scroll through social media for hours comparing their lives to strangers, and then wonder why they feel drained, why their goals never move, why life feels stuck. You can't expect to build an empire when your energy is spent reacting to nonsense. Your focus builds your future, and if you keep giving it away for free, you'll stay broke, not financially, but mentally and emotionally. You have to start protecting your energy like it's gold, because it is. Every thought you allow into your mind, every conversation you entertain, every piece of content you consume, it's either feeding you or draining you. And most people are starving for purpose because they feed their mind garbage all day. You can't spend your energy on negativity and expect positive results. You can't fill your day with distractions and expect to stay disciplined. That's not how winners operate. Winners guard their focus like warriors guard their kingdoms. They don't waste time on things that don't move the needle. You've got to be ruthless about what deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves your attention. Not every situation deserves your reaction. You've got to learn to let things slide. You've got to train your emotions to stay calm when the world tries to provoke you. Because every time you react, you give power away. You think you're proving a point, but really, you're wasting your strength. Let people talk. Let them doubt. Let them hate. None of that pays your bills. None of that builds your dreams. None of that moves you forward. What matters is what you do with your time, your focus, your drive. When you focus on yourself, everything changes. You start realizing that energy flows where attention goes. If you focus on problems, you'll find more problems. If you focus on progress, you'll find more opportunities. It's simple but powerful. Your mind is like a lens, whatever you point it grows. So if all you ever look at is negativity, you'll live in it. But if you aim your focus at your goals, at your self-improvement, at your purpose, that's what starts expanding. That's how you gain control over your reality. The reason most people never reach their full potential is because they give their best energy to the wrong things. They spend their mornings on their phones instead of their goals. They spend their evenings talking about people instead of working on themselves. And then they tell themselves they're tired, they're burnt out, they're lost. No, they're just mismanaged. Their energy is all over the place. If you treated your focus like money, you'd stop wasting it. You'd start budgeting it. You'd ask yourself, is this conversation worth it? Is this argument worth it? Is this distraction worth the cost? Because every time you say yes to nonsense, you're saying no to your growth. You need to be intentional with where your energy goes. Don't pour your energy into people who drain you. Don't chase validation from those who wouldn't notice your failure. Your energy belongs to your mission. Every bit of focus you invest into your health, your mindset, your discipline, it compounds. The more you pour into yourself, the stronger you get. The stronger you get, the less the world can shake you. That's how high performers are built, not through talent, but through focus control. Start paying attention to how you feel after spending time with certain people, after doing certain things. If it leaves you tired, distracted, or empty, cut it. If it pushes you, sharpens you, fuels you, do more of it. You can't afford to be careless with your energy. Life is a game of endurance, and the one who manages his energy the best wins. Every great achievement starts with focus. Every great downfall starts with distraction. The average man is losing not because he lacks skill, but because he lacks control. He's busy everywhere, but present nowhere. His attention is fractured. His mind is cluttered. His power is diluted. But when you decide to focus your energy like a laser instead of scattering it like dust, everything starts aligning. You stop chasing, you start attracting. You stop reacting, you start creating. That's the shift that turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Your energy builds your reality. Spend it wisely, protect it fiercely, and you'll realize that the moment you stop wasting it on everything else, you finally have enough to build the life you want. Isolation builds kings. Most people fear being alone because they don't understand what isolation truly is. They think it's loneliness, when in reality it's preparation. When you're isolated, you're not missing out, you're leveling up. You're not avoiding people, you're avoiding distractions. You're not lost, you're focused. Every man who has ever built something great has spent time in the dark, in silence, away from the noise, sharpening his mind while everyone else was wasting theirs. The world is full of men who fear being alone because silence forces them to face themselves. And that's exactly why they never grow. When you isolate, you see the truth. You start realizing how much time you wasted trying to please people who don't care, how many hours you threw away in meaningless conversations, how much potential you buried under social validation. The noise of the world keeps you average because it keeps you distracted. Everyone wants attention, everyone wants validation, but nobody wants solitude. Why? Because solitude exposes your weaknesses. It shows you your flaws, your bad habits, your undisciplined mind. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself you keep avoiding. But that's where transformation begins, not in comfort, not in crowds, but in silence while everyone else is partying. You're planning. While they're scrolling, you're studying. While they're chasing attention, you're chasing greatness. That's why isolation separates the strong from the weak. The weak need noise to feel alive. The strong need focus to stay sharp. When you spend time alone, you start understanding what you truly want. You stop chasing things that don't matter. You stop pretending. You stop wasting energy on people who drain you. You begin to build structure, discipline, and a sense of self that can't be shaken. You've got to stop thinking isolation is punishment. It's your most powerful tool. It's where you cut off the world long enough to hear your own thoughts. It's where you make plans without opinions drowning them out. It's where you rebuild your confidence piece by piece. People won't understand your silence because they can't handle their own. But that's their weakness, not yours. You'll notice, when you start pulling away, they'll call you distant, arrogant, detached, but what they're really saying is that your focus exposes their lack of it. The truth is, nobody becomes great surrounded by comfort. Every successful person had a phase of isolation. It's the part nobody sees. They only see the results, the cars, the money, the power, but they never see the nights spent alone working while everyone else slept. They never see the days spent thinking, reflecting, planning while others were wasting time. That's where the edge is built. Isolation isn't loneliness. It's the gym for your mind. It's where you train your thoughts to serve you, not sabotage you. It's where you learn patience, control, and vision. When you're alone, you can't lie to yourself. You can't hide behind small talk or distractions. You face reality head on. You realize what's working, what's not, and who you really are without the mask you wear for the world. And that's powerful because clarity is rare. Most people don't know who they are because they're too busy pretending to be what others expect. But the man who spends time in silence learns to move with purpose. He learns to walk alone, think independently, and act without fear of judgment. Isolation teaches you self-reliance. It builds your inner strength. When you can be alone and still feel powerful, you become unstoppable. Because now, you don't need anyone to motivate you, validate you, or guide you. You become your own source of direction. You become your own source of discipline. That's what true freedom looks like when you can stand alone and still move forward. There will be moments in isolation where you doubt yourself, where you question your path, where the silence feels heavy. That's normal. That's the storm before the breakthrough. It's your old self dying off so your new one can rise. You're not missing out on anything by isolating. You're creating everything. You're building the mindset, the habits, and the vision that the average man will never understand. You're choosing purpose over pleasure, clarity over chaos, growth over gossip. You have to be willing to walk alone for a while because the path to greatness is never crowded. The world will try to pull you back with distractions, with comfort, with temptation. But every time you choose silence over noise, you sharpen your focus. Every time you choose solitude over attention, you build power. The man who learns to enjoy his own company becomes the man nobody can break. That's how kings are made, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, training in silence while the rest of the world sleeps. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. That's what separates the ones who talk about success from the ones who live it. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you moving when the excitement dies. Anyone can feel inspired for a day after a motivational video, after a quote, after a burst of emotion, but the real test begins when that feeling disappears. When the energy is gone, when it's cold, when you're tired, when no one's watching, that's where most people quit. That's where the strong keep going. The people who win in life don't rely on motivation, they rely on habits. They've trained themselves to act, not feel, to move, not wait, to execute, not excuse. You see, motivation is emotional. It depends on how you feel. But discipline is logical. It depends on who you are. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel about the work. It just demands that you do it every single day. Whether you're inspired or exhausted, whether the conditions are perfect or terrible. Discipline means you show up. You get it done because it's part of who you are. You've turned it into identity. That's how high performers are built, through consistent action, not momentary enthusiasm. When you focus on yourself, you stop chasing motivation and start building structure. You understand that your success isn't built on emotion, it's built on repetition. Every rep in the gym, every hour of study, every early morning, every late night, that's discipline stacking results. Motivation gives you the dream, discipline gives you the reality. Without discipline, your dreams stay daydreams. You keep talking about what you're going to do instead of actually doing it. You keep planning instead of executing. And the world doesn't pay for potential, it pays for performance. You can't wait to feel ready. You can't wait for the perfect moment. You'll never feel 100% prepared, and the conditions will never be ideal. Winners know that. They don't wait for the mood, they create momentum. Every single day, they push forward small steps. Consistent effort, no excuses. That's how they build the gap between themselves and everyone else. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's discipline. The ability to do what needs to be done long after the mood to do it has left. Discipline is what keeps you grinding when no one notices. It's what gets you out of bed when motivation fails. It's what forces you to stay focused when distractions pull at you. And every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your mind. You train your willpower like a muscle. You start realizing that most of the limits you thought you had were illusions. Your body can go further, your mind can push harder. Your potential can expand infinitely if you stop negotiating with your excuses. The truth is, you don't need to feel good to do great things. You don't need to be motivated to take action. You just need to move. Once you start, the energy comes. Once you build momentum, the feeling follows. Most people wait for the emotion to arrive before they act, but that's backward. Action creates emotion. Discipline creates confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce your self-respect. And that's where true power begins, in the quiet consistency of showing up. When it's hard, you've got to understand that success isn't built on the days you feel amazing. It's built on the days you don't. Anyone can work when it's easy, but it's the man who works when it's hard who wins. The man who shows up tired, unmotivated, doubting himself, but still does the work, that's the man who becomes unstoppable. Because once you realize you can move without motivation, you become dangerous. You no longer depend on circumstances to dictate your actions. You move because it's what you do. Because it's who you are. Discipline is the ultimate freedom. It gives you control over your mind, your body, your life. When you live by discipline, you're no longer a slave to emotion. You don't wake up waiting to feel ready, you wake up ready to work. You stop relying on external forces to push you, because the fire's already inside you. You do it for yourself, not for applause, not for validation, not for attention. You do it because you made a promise to yourself, and you keep it. Discipline is not glamorous. It's repetitive. It's quiet. It's the same grind every day without shortcuts or applause. But that's what makes it powerful. Because while everyone else burns out chasing motivation, you're still moving. You're still growing. You're still winning. The man who's mastered discipline doesn't need to talk about his goals. His results do it for him. That's the difference between a dreamer and a doer, between the weak and the strong, between those who want to win and those who actually do. Winning is a lonely game. Everyone wants success until they realize what it actually costs. They want the rewards, but not the isolation. They want the recognition, but not the sacrifice. They want the victory, but not the solitude that comes before it. The truth is, when you start focusing on yourself, when you start chasing greatness, the world around you gets quieter. People begin to fade away. The crowd that once cheered for you goes silent. The ones who used to support you start questioning you. They won't understand why you're so focused, why you've stopped showing up, why you've cut off distractions. But that's the price of evolution. You outgrow the noise. You outgrow people who don't want to grow. When you start winning, you'll realize that success isolates you, not because you're better than others, but because fewer people can relate to your mindset. Most people are addicted to comfort, addicted to excuses, addicted to staying the same. You start speaking a different language, the language of purpose, discipline, and drive, and they stop understanding you. You're talking about progress while they're talking about parties. You're building your future while they're living for the weekend. And slowly, you realize the higher you climb, the fewer people there are beside you. That's not failure. That's a sign you're leveling up. You've got to be willing to lose people to find yourself. The man who wins isn't the one surrounded by the biggest crowd. He's the one who kept going when the crowd left. Because most people will only support you as long as you're comfortable to be around. The moment you make them feel uncomfortable with your ambition, they'll distance themselves. They'll tell you you've changed, that you're obsessed, that you're too serious. But what they really mean is that your focus exposes their laziness. Your drive makes them reflect on their own lack of action. And instead of elevating, they retreat. Let them. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them leave. Because the fewer distractions you have, the faster you move. The road to success is narrow for a reason. It's not designed for everyone to walk it. It's built for those who can handle the silence, who can work without applause, who can believe in themselves when no one else does. There will be nights where you question everything, where you wonder if it's worth it, where the loneliness feels heavy. But that's where winners are forged, not in comfort, but in isolation. That's where your vision becomes clear, your resolve becomes unbreakable, and your purpose becomes unstoppable. The man who learns to stand alone becomes the man no one can knock down. When you focus on yourself, you start realizing that not everyone is meant to come with you. Some people were only meant for a chapter, not the whole book. They were part of your story to teach you something, but not to walk with you to the finish line. You've got to learn to let go without bitterness. You can't carry everyone with you. Some people are simply too heavy, and if you try to drag them, they'll slow you down until you stop moving altogether. Focus on your path. Keep your energy where it matters. The real ones will meet you at the top. Winning is lonely, but it's worth it. Because while others are chasing temporary comfort, you're building permanent strength. While they're looking for validation, you're building self-respect. While they're wasting time on gossip, you're creating a legacy. And when the results finally come, when your work speaks louder than your words, those same people who doubted you will pretend they always believed. They'll say they knew you'd make it. They'll ask how you did it, and you'll smile because deep down you'll know you did it alone. When no one was watching, when no one cared, when no one believed. That's the reality of winning. It's quiet, it's lonely, it's uncomfortable, but it's also pure because everything you achieve in that silence belongs to you. No one can take credit for it. No one can say they built it for you. You earned it through focus, through sacrifice, through isolation. You became your own motivation, your own support system, your own force of nature. That's why success feels different when it's yours. Because it's not handed to you, it's forged through pain, through patience, through persistence. The higher you climb, the lonelier it gets, but that's the sign you're rising above mediocrity. The air is thinner at the top because not everyone can breathe it. You'll lose people, you'll face doubt, you'll question yourself. But every step you take alone brings you closer to freedom, to peace, to power. That's the trade: comfort for greatness, company for clarity, distraction for dominance. The man who learns to walk alone is the man who learns how to win on his own terms. At the end of the day, everything comes down to one truth: you are the project. Not your friends, not your environment, not your circumstances, you. The world won't hand you success. It won't give you motivation, support, or validation. You've got to build it yourself. You've got to earn it through focus, through isolation, through discipline. You've got to be willing to walk the road that most people avoid, because that's where greatness lies. The moment you stop chasing others and start investing everything into yourself, everything changes. The noise fades, the vision sharpens. The path becomes clear. You'll start to realize that no one's coming to save you, and that's your greatest power. Because once you take full ownership of your life, you stop waiting and start creating. You stop reacting and start building. You stop comparing and start dominating. Every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every lonely grind, it all compounds into something unstoppable. You become sharper, stronger, more resilient. You become a man who doesn't depend on luck or motivation, but on consistency and purpose. That's how you win, not by trying to impress the world, but by mastering yourself. Success isn't about being seen, it's about being prepared. It's not about talking, it's about doing. The world belongs to those who control their focus, guard their energy, and move in silence. So forget the noise, forget the distractions, forget the opinions. Focus on yourself, build your mindset, build your habits, build your empire. Because the moment you stop seeking validation and start chasing evolution, that's the moment you truly begin to win.